Hello, my name is Maria Andrea, and this is my first booktube video. My purpose in making this video is to share my 2023 aspirations, which I think may be very lofty, but nonetheless, share them. My word of the year for 2023 is slow. And what that means for me in my reading life is that I will be taking things very slowly. No pressure, no judgment, just read as I please and take things slow. Really try to take in what I'm reading and take my time. So, with that said, I don't know how many books I'm going to read, and I'm not setting a number. Last year for 2022, I read somewhere in the 20s, 20-something books. The year prior, I read 70 to 80 books. I'm hoping I'll read anywhere between 12 to 80 books. That's what I'm guessing based on my history of what I've done in the past. So if I read 12 books, great. If I read 80 books, that's okay too. So I turned 40 in 2022, and I had purchased this book in my 30s, and I hadn't really purposefully, intentionally gotten into it. I kind of had marked ones that I'd already read. So after I turned 40, I thought, this is it. I'm going to go through this book and really try to be more intentional with reading things from here. And see if I agree that these books deserve to be in the 1,000 books to read before you die bucket list. So I'm telling myself that I would like to read 10 books from this list. I might make a separate video talking about what my prospects are with that. I've started kind of tagging books that are already on my shelf, books that I am really excited to read, or are maybe next in a series that I'm already involved in that is on here. So I will be I'll be tackling those first, and then going from there. Another goal, it's kind of a fun goal for me this year, is I love memoirs. I love nonfiction. But memoirs are really, really, what's the word? There's something that I really enjoy. I feel like I get to know somebody and maybe find points of connection or find interesting things about a person and a person's life. I really enjoy reading about other people. I love biographies and autobiographies and all of that. Nonfiction jam. So I usually read a lot of memoirs, and last year I didn't. Last year I read Crying in Mart and Jeanette McCurty's I'm Glad My Mom Died. Both I loved. Both were really, really good. This year I want to try to get myself to read 12 celebrity memoirs, so hopefully like one celebrity memoir a year. I really love the Celebrity Memoir Bookclub podcast, and I haven't been keeping up with their reading, like as they're reading, but some of those are already on my TBR, or I'm looking forward to reading and then going back and listening to the podcast episode. So I am going to be diving into some, and I think for January, I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to be listening to the Mariah Carey audiobook of, I think it's The Life of Mariah Carey, or The Meaning of Mariah Carey. I'm not sure, but I'll definitely link it. That's one that I hope to be getting to really soon. In the future, other books, other memoirs that are on my radar for 2023 are Rue McClanahan, My First Five Husbands and the Ones That Got Away. I love her. I love Blanche in The Golden Girls, and I love The Golden Girls. I love all of them. I think my favorite is Sophia but I think I'm more like Rose, but I want to be more like Blanche. I'm probably a hybrid of Rose and Dorothy, but I want to be more like Blanche and Sophia. Anyway, Rue McClanahan's Memoir is one that I really would like to read. I have been reading Samantha Irby on an annual. That's kind of an annual author that I've been reading, and I think my last of hers to complete her series, and I think I read them out of order, but nonetheless, they're enjoyable, whatever order you read them in, is Meaty. So that's one that I'd like to get to. David Sedaris, I have not read David Sedaris in a couple of years, so I'm really behind on his collection, his books. So hopefully I'll read some of his writing. Delia Ephron, Left on 10th. I got this on Kindle, I think last year. Haven't gotten to it, but I'm really excited to. I think that would be a really good read for me. And The Girl on the Balcony by Olivia Hussey. I love Romeo and Juliet. I actually went to a live play in my community of Romeo and Juliet last year, and I wanted to reread the play. And then I listened to an episode on the Librarian is In podcast, and they were talking about The Girl on the Balcony, and I thought, like, yes, I really want to read that memoir. So I haven't gotten to it. I've been meaning to last year, but it was one of those books that I just missed. But I have it. It's in my Kindle, and I want to read it. Okay, so then I'm going to be persevering in 2023. I am still reading Middlemarch. So I started Middlemarch in March of last year. I'm still reading it super slowly. I'm reading it on the Serial app. I'll link the app too. It's an app where you get like classics, like especially like really long classics as they would have come out when they would come out in serial, so you wouldn't get all of it at once. So I get maybe 8 to 9 minutes of reading time at a time. And so I've been slowly getting through that. Excuse me. And I am probably going to make separate videos, but there are a few contributions that I want to make to YouTube, to BookTube. The first contribution that I want to put on here in the BookTube community is I want to start a Love Where You Live, Read Local book challenge. Make it super easy. I already have a plan for it. I might make a separate video, but the intention is to read local and keep tuned to what that is about and what the challenge entails and what I will be reading. I also want to create a Selena-inspired TBR for the month of April. So if you love Selena, I love Selena. I grew up listening to Selena. I was in 7th grade when she was murdered, and I really loved her. So I tend to, I love listening to her music, and I thought I really want to keep her alive in my reading, make her a part of my reading, so I want to do a TBR inspired by her music. More to come on that, I guess. I also have a reading project going where I am reading Gatsby. I've already read Gatsby. I read Gatsby in high school. I listened to the audiobook of Gatsby, The Great Gatsby, last year. And I want to maybe give it another reread in print this year. And I loved Gatsby when I read it in high school. The audiobook last year didn't really grab me as much as I would have thought it would have, based on how much I enjoyed the book in high school. I think I've outgrown it, but I like some of the themes. I particularly like the conversation about the American dream. And so I have some other books that have that theme that I want to read, and I kind of dissect and compare So this started a few years back when I think I heard about this author. And I think that Stephanie Powell Watts gets into the American dream in this novel, and I really want to read it and just compare it to Gatsby. Not compare, but like juxtapose my reading experiences. And then I watched an episode of or a video of Claire Reads Books, and she talked about White Ivy and really sold it to me. And she talked about comparisons to that theme of the American dream. I believe this is a thriller, and I'm really excited to read it and to just juxtapose these books and dissect the American dream theme in my reading. So that's something that I'm doing personally, and I'm working on that. So I'll continue to work on that this year, and we'll see how long it takes me to get through and really simmer in my thoughts. But I'll share them here. Another project that is not book related, but it's definitely reading related, is I'm working on my bedroom book nook. So I really want to make a space in my bedroom for sitting and just enjoying reading. I have a chair that is really meaningful. It's an heirloom from my grandparents, and want to just create a reading space in my bedroom that I can sit at, not in my bed, but just sit in a chair and just enjoy a cup of tea, and read some good books. So I'm working on that. 2023 Spotlight Authors is the next in my notes. So some authors that I want to read about or read their works in 2023 are Gloria Anzaldúa. She's one that I'll be reading in February for Read Local. Her piece, Borderlands, is one that I read. I think I read it when I was in college, or maybe after college, but I'm pretty sure I read it during the time that I was in college. I want to give that book a reread. I also really, really love Lisa Cross Smith. I read Whiskey and Ribbons a few years ago, and I loved it. I haven't ever read anything like Whiskey and Ribbons. Like, it's a romance, but not a romance. It's like literary fiction meets romance meets... It almost felt like I was reading a memoir. It's told in two perspectives. It just felt so true to life. Those characters felt so real to me. I love the experience that it gave me. And I love her writing. So I want to read more of her writing. So my friend, one of my best friends, gifted me this book. This is her... I believe that... Oh, this is short stories. I love short stories. So this is one that I want to read from her collection. I'm really behind. She's published several books since this one, the short story collection. So I want to catch up with her. I want to say Whiskey and Ribbons was her debut, but I could be wrong. But hopefully that's accurate. I'll fact check myself. Another spotlight author for me is Shirley Jackson. I love Shirley Jackson. Love her. Oh my gosh, there's so much to read. Love her. So I'm working on getting through this collection. It's a short collection, but again, taking my time. So I started this collection, reading through it in October, and I'm still reading a short story here and there. but I really love Dark Tales. My favorite so far that I've read from her is We've Always Lived in the Castle. That book, oh my goodness, it stuck with me, and I want to read Haunting on Hill House. I have not read that one, so that's on my TBR for this year. But yeah, Shirley Jackson, I definitely want to spend more time with her in 2023. Maggie O'Farrell. I really, really love Maggie O'Farrell. Love her writing. I need to get to Hamnet. I started it, haven't finished it. Need to get to it. And Amélie Nothomb. Amélie Nothomb was put on my radar by Dina Otra. Now, I am Mexican. My first language is Spanish, and I live in the United States. So my dominant language right now in my environment is English, but I code switch. So I listen to Booktube in English and Spanish. I maybe will do some videos in English and Spanish. I will code switch during videos. It's normal for me. Just please know that about me. It's normal. It's part of my identity. So Amélie Nothomb fue recomendado por Dina Oltra y tanta exclamación por el trabajo de Amélie Nothomb es infectuoso y me ha inspirado a leer más sobre ella, sobre sus libros. I believe Amélie Nothomb is Belgian, and I think I read somewhere that she was a Francophile. So I don't know if some of her books are set in France, but I will probably be reading her books in the Spanish translation, because Dina recommended them to me, and Dina read them in Spanish, and I think I trust her. I trust Dina. Dina Oltra y yo tenemos gustos en común en la lectura. I think her experience is what I'm going to trust, and so I'm going to go for the Spanish translation. So yeah. And 2023 series that I am going to continue. I've been working my way through the Fairyland series by Catherine M. Valente. I'm currently in book 2. I haven't finished it, but I'm really looking forward to continuing that. I'm also curious about Nevermore. I get that recommended a lot. I have the first book. I'm thinking I'm going to start it. So yeah, Nevermore might be in my 2023. It's not on my list here, but it just popped in my head as something that's been recommended that is on my shelf that I might start. Another series that it's not on here, but it just came to mind is Lemony Snicket's. I love the Netflix Lemony Snicket's series adaptation. Love it so much. I love those kids. I think I want to dive into those books. Whether it happens in 2023, I don't know. But we'll see. The Neapolitan Quartet by Elena Ferrante. I'm at book 4. I finished book 3 last year. I'm at book 4. Usually I read Elena Ferrante in the summer. I love Elena Ferrante in the summer. Love picturing the Italian coast, the beach. Always feels like a heat wave when I read her books, and there's always a heat wave here between May and October. There's heat waves. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be really happy, maybe a little nostalgic, a little sad to finish that series, but I think I'm ready to finish the Neapolitan Quartet. So that'll be in the summer. Sujata Masi, the Perveen Mystery series. I've gotten through the first 2 books. I'm at the Bombay Prince. That's gonna be on my TBR for this year. So I'm excited. I like Perveen. I want to see what she's up to in the Bombay Prince book. And Becky Chambers, the Monk and Robot books. I read the first one, A Song for the Wild Bill. I have the second one. I don't have it here at the table with me, but I have the second one, and I am gonna be reading it. Yeah. Okay. So 2023 buzzwords, things that are just always kind of like, if I see these words in blurbs or in lists, it's like automatic hook for me. If I see American Dream, the word wild, anything, a title that has the word wild, that's just automatic. I don't know, there's something about the word wild. Oh, well, you could see I like wild print. So yeah, the word wild, there's something about that word that just connects with me. And butterflies, books about butterflies on book covers, those are kind of like just automatic hooks. So those are likely to come up in my reading. So reading lists. I love Book Riot. I listen to their podcasts. I read their articles. I'm subscribed to newsletters. I don't remember how many newsletters I click subscribe to, but more than I definitely read. So Book Riot has some lists that I'm working towards. These are not all going to get read in 2023, but I might pick a book from each of these lists as the year progresses. So the first list that I'm working on is the 6 best Latinx fantasy novels you can't miss. Yes, please. I want more fantasy, definitely Latinx. I watch Matthew Sharapa. I love Matthew Sharapa's channel. I love Matthew Sharapa. And he did this readathon last year. He's done it, I think, several years. What's it called? It's fantasy. I don't read a lot of fantasy. Shiftathon. The Shiftathon. I don't read a lot. I hadn't read, I don't think ever, Shifters, ever. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to do this in 2022. I read Certain Dark Things by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Loved that book. I listened to the audio. I really would love to get my hands on a physical copy of that book. So someday I'm going to buy it and just own it and have it on my library. I really loved it. It was my first shiftathon. I loved that shifter. I loved her. I loved the relationship. I loved the romance bit. It was just sweet and amazing and a thrill. I loved it. So I want more fantasy in my life in 2023. I really love letters, epistolary novels, or actual like nonfiction collection of diary entries or letters. Book Riot has a list titled The 10 Epistolary Novels for Literary Letter Lovers. So yes, that's me, literary letter lover. They also have a list of the 50 must-read plays by women. That is definitely something I want to read more of. I want more plays in my reading activity. And they also have a newsletter titled The Best Memoirs You've Never Heard of. Yes, that's also a check for me of lists of books that I want to go through and take my time with. Other lists that I've come across on the internet, PRH, Penguin Random House, had a list that I saved to my Evernote app a while back, and it's books for Taurus. I'm a Taurus, and I'm not a huge astrology nerd, but I thought, you know what, it would be interesting to read this list and see if it's true. See if I actually really enjoy those books, or see what what about those books is common, and that if, like, I don't know, if they really are for a Taurus. And I'd be curious to know if any other Tauruses read the same books and really, really loved those books. I don't know. It's interesting. So that's something I maybe want to read into and see, is this true? And then 10 Landmark Plays by Women You Should Know. This is on backstage.com. I found this list because, again, I want more plays integrated into my reading activity. So 10 Landmark Plays by Women You Should Know, backstage.com. Definitely going to be perusing that this year and looking for something to read. And Latino Book Review. They have a list of the 5 contemporary Mexican authors you should know. I need to read more contemporary authors. I feel like I'm kind of stuck in my high school Spanish Lit AP class. I really love the classics. I've read most of like the classic authors, and I love them, and I want to continue in my reading of the classic works of Mexican Lit and other Latin American Spaniards, some of the classic Spanish works of fiction. But I really feel behind, and I don't really know my contemporary authors. So Fernanda Melchor and Yuri Herrera are ones that are on my radar. I haven't read their works. I have Yuri Herrera's. I have like 3 of his. I have a collection, so that includes 3 of his works. So he's one that I want to learn more about and connect with. And Fernanda Melchor is one that I've been really interested in. Sorry, I'm just playing with my pen. I've been really interested in, but I've been a little bit scared, but I know I don't have anything to be scared of. But I know her writing is probably going to be intense. I know the themes that are in there. I know the conversations. I know the culture. I know. And I want to read about what she writes because I feel like it's going to resonate. But I think because I know it's going to resonate, it gives me pause. But I think I'm ready to just be challenged and have a lot of feels about it, about her stories. I know I'm gonna love her. From what I've read, from what I've heard other people talk about Fernanda Melchor's work, I know I'm gonna love Hurricane Season. I just know I am. I think that was probably gonna be a 5-star prediction. Like, yes, I probably will love this book. But I've been pausing, and I don't know, 2023 might be the year where I just say yes to challenging, difficult, really books that really, really like connect internally. I think that's one of those books. Okay. So on to read-alongs and readathons that I am looking forward to in 2023. I don't know all of like which ones will be around in 2023, but I know that Krista from Books and Jams has been doing Middle Grade March for some time, and I always love an excuse to read a middle grade. I don't need an excuse to read middle grade, but I love having a dedicated time for middle grade, and I'm really looking forward to getting on my middle grade reads in March. June on the Range, I've never done, but I think I love Westerns. I think I do. I think I can say I really love Westerns. I haven't read too many of them, but the ones that, like, okay, Lonesome Dove. I loved Lonesome Dove. I love the Western landscape. I think I would love it. I would love to just go in on reading Westerns in June. Hispanic Heritage Month. I did something I really enjoyed this year with Hispanic Heritage Month, just myself. I read a lot. I caught up on just took my time with just reading books by Hispanic authors. So I want to do more of that. And for me, Hispanic Heritage Month is a bit of an extended time period. I think they only do it for a month, but I tend to start Hispanic Heritage Month in September at around 16 de septiembre, which is Mexican Independence, to Dia de los Muertos in November. So between 16 de septiembre and Dia de los Muertos, I tend to just focus on my heritage and reading books from authors that I share that with. So I'm really excited about that. And I love nonfiction. I think I mentioned that already. So Olive from a book Olive does the nonfiction November, and that's always a check mark for me in terms of what I'm doing, what I'm reading, how I'm curating my reading for that season. So those are just a few of the readathons and read-alongs. I'm sure there are more that I will join. If Matthew Sharpa does another shapeshifter or shiftathon, readathon, I might try that again. That was fun. Women in translation. I tend to always do that, so I look forward to that as well. And that's in August typically. So yeah, that's it for me for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm reading, or you want to hear more about what I'm up to in my reading life, feel free to click subscribe, like the video, join the conversation in the comments, and I look forward to coming back soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.